Hey guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome back to another zodiac video. So today's video we're talking about your moon sign. So I haven't said this before, but in all my videos I kind of make them with the intention of you guys applying it to your moon, your Mars, your Venus, your rising, whatever, right? So I get a lot of hate because people are like, she does know that there isn't only one sign, right? And I understand that. I just trust that you guys will use your knowledge and your judgment to kind of decide how to interpret the information. So like if you're watching the video where I talk about the signs when angry, you can think about your sun sign and your Mars sign. If you're listening to me talk about love, then maybe you should think about your Venus and your freaking, what's it called, your moon sign, you know? So my videos are very like, my videos apply to anything really. It's just how you want to take it and how you want to interpret it. Anyways, moving on. This one, I suggest you think about your Venus and your moon and your sun. But I also wanted to say one more thing. So pretty much, I have downloaded this app called Instant Go. This is not a sponsorship, just so you know, you can keep listening. Don't worry, you don't have to fast forward. This is for your benefit. A lot of people email me and DM me multiple times. They send me paragraphs. I get hundreds and hundreds, and that's okay. I expect it. I answer as many as I can, and I'm happy to do that, but there are a lot that I miss. And there are a lot of people that really, really want to talk to me, and I don't say that in a cocky way. I just say it as a fact. There are a lot of people that want to talk to me, and I can't. I'm one person. I have a lot of things going on. I can't. So to anybody that really wants to get in contact with me and communicate with me, get advice on astrology, on love, on cutting off friends, on friendships, whatever it is that you want, I downloaded an app called Instant Go and I signed myself up. My username is TheAmateurGuru, shocker. So my username is TheAmateurGuru. You can pretty much follow me on there and you can choose to have a phone call with me for a low price. Of course, I would love to do this for free, but I'm self-employed. So if you're interested and you want to support me, then feel free to sign up on the app and book a call with me. It is an hour long. That's a long ass time. So I can only take 5 to 10 per week because it's very, very time consuming. That's 10 hours a week, right? So, I mean, I'm gonna love doing it, don't get me wrong, but I can only take about 10 per week. So if you do want to talk to me and have a chat, then make sure to sign up on the app, hit me up, we could talk, and we could talk for an hour. That's a long time. Trust me, we could talk about a lot. Anyways, getting onto the video, I'm actually going to break it into 2 parts because I tend to talk a lot and I don't want to make this a 40-minute long video. We're going to do 6 signs today and 6 signs next week. Capricorn, Aquarius, Pisces, Aries, Taurus, and Gemini. We are going to start with Aquarius because Aquarius season's coming. Okay, no, fine. We'll start with Capricorn because it's currently Capricorn season, okay? So as a Capricorn, if your moon is in Capricorn, I'm talking about moon, but again, use it however you want to use it. If your moon is in Capricorn, this means that you are probably a little hard to love. You're a little hard to love, but once you are loved, you probably bring in so much loving energy because you give so much in a relationship. I know I say Capricorns are selfish, and they are. But when it comes to like family, close friends, and romantic partners, they give so much because they want to make sure that whoever they're interacting with is on their level, whether it be spiritually, emotionally, financially, you know what I mean? So they want to bring you up with them. So they're not the kind of people who are gonna leave you behind in the dust if you are a very, very close person to them. They're gonna bring you with them. So I speak poorly on Capricorns probably because I don't have close bonds with them, so they always leave me behind in the dust like everybody else, and that's why I dislike them. But anyways, it's not about me and who I like and dislike, but I'm just gonna throw that out there. So yeah, if you have a Capricorn moon, this means you're probably very giving with the people that you love. This means that it takes a little while for you to fall in love with someone. You're very practical about it. You think it through very logically. You look at the pros and the cons. You're not someone that gets into like a lot of foolish relationships, you know what I mean? You know, like how, sorry, Aries jump from relationship to relationship and they kind of don't care who they're with. Sometimes we'll get to them. Capricorns are not like that. Capricorns are very, very practical in deciding when and who to love. So again, if your moon's in Capricorn, that means that that's how you could be in loving relationships. So emotionally, since you know your moon sign is emotions, this means that you are not too sensitive, which is really good. But this also means that you're not empathetic at all. I don't find you guys to be empathetic at all. I feel like you guys have a hard time of putting yourselves in other people's shoes, and sometimes you just can't see why someone might be upset. It's hard for you to understand why someone's feeling the way they do, why they're angry, why they're this, why they're that, because you kind of look at everything in such a practical way that you just assume that people are okay all the time. And when they're not, if you can't understand it, you can't empathize with them. Is empathize a word? I think so. I don't know. But yeah, emotionally, you're not too sensitive. You're okay. But when it comes to your romantic relationships, you do take things personally, and you don't ever feel like you can talk to someone about certain things because you just want to seem like a thug, as if you can handle anything. But your heart is not made out of steel. You're allowed to be upset. You're allowed to call up a friend and vent. It's totally fine. It's totally normal. Lower your ego. Lower your ego. Speaking of ego, usually you guys like to stroke your own ego by charming others around you. This gets people to treat you nice. This gets people to crush on you. This gets people to think you're interested in them, but really you're just like doing it for fun. Aquarius moon. You've probably mastered the art of being unbothered, or appearing to be unbothered. You're probably a little heartless. I find that, I'm Aquarius. I find that as an Aquarius, I'm so happy that I have Virgo moon, because if I didn't, I think that I would be a rock. I think that Aquarius are very, very, very emotionally detached, and if your moon is Aquarius, like if you got like Aquarius moon and Aquarius sun, oh my god, let me pray for you, because you probably have a really hard time getting into relationships. But yeah, Aquarius moon in general, I think that it's very hard for you to have people feel how much you care about them and love them, because you have a really hard time showing it. It's also hard for you to process emotions as easily. You can understand people, you can put yourself in other people's shoes. I don't want to sound like this is the Capricorn, because it's very different. The problem is when it comes to romantic relationships and stuff like that, you are very detached. Emotionally, I feel like you can handle a lot having your moon in Aquarius. You can be very sensitive, but you like to pretend not to be. You take things very personally. You make a lot of assumptions. You should probably read the book The Four Agreements. But yeah, you take things personally, you make a lot of assumptions, and you don't communicate these all the time because you're going through too much in your own brain that you don't really say much about it. You just kind of jump the gun and react without dealing with your emotions first. So you should really deal with your emotions because they're a real thing. You try and stop yourself from feeling. In some cases, it all depends. You are probably very reactive and defensive. This comes from you taking things personally. So you're probably always out to defend yourself because you feel as though people are always coming for you. And you know, you gotta tone that down a bit, because sometimes that's not the case and people just want to talk to you, but you shut them down and you shut your emotions down, and it's not okay. You're a little heartless. You can be a little cold sometimes with people, and you don't want to be. That's like the conflict that goes on in an Aquarius's brain, or someone with heavy Aquarius in their chart. You just shut down and you don't want to really have a level-headed conversation, because that will make you vulnerable, and you probably slightly fear vulnerability. This probably comes from your ego. We should all work on our ego, guys. We really should. Pisces moon. You're probably creative. You probably process your emotions in it's probably like either really healthy ways or very unhealthy ways, no in between. So you're probably either pouring all your emotions into creativity and arts and songwriting and poetry and drawing and guitar, or you're doing drugs. It's probably like one or the other, or maybe it's both. I find that Pisces moon are so emotional that they don't really know how to cope with all of their emotions. What I do like about Pisces moon and Pisces in general is that you guys embrace them. Maybe not publicly, but you do feel everything. You allow yourself to feel. So I think that's really good. I just think that the ways in which you choose to feel are questionable sometimes. Pisces usually have a soft spot for someone. For example, let's say a Pisces got their heart broken. Emotionally, they are still attached to this person, but refuse to admit it. So they have a hard time opening their heart up to other people. And it's really sad because if, like, let's say the other person's moved on, they're in a relationship, it's like, okay, you gotta move on. But sometimes they just feel so stuck emotionally, right? Other than romantically, them dealing with their emotions is a very intense thing. They feel everything really deeply. I should stop saying them and say you. But anyways, you probably feel everything very deeply, including your anger, including your sadness, your happiness. You have high highs, you have low lows. That's why I usually use that meme that I've shown before, which is just like the most accurate fucking thing ever, where it's like there's either one or the other when it comes to Pisces. Everything is just intensified for you guys because you feel emotions so deeply. It's insane. And your energy is absolutely magnetic. People are drawn to you. People are drawn to you, and when people feel things towards you, I feel like it's reciprocated because they kind of match your energy in a way. So if someone's mad at you, they're not mad at you, they are livid and they want to burn your house down. If someone's in love with you, they are not just, oh, I love them. They're like, oh my God, I would die for this person. People feel so heavily for you. I think it's because you give so much emotionally. So if somebody meets you and they think you're really dope, they're like, oh my God, like, bring this person out again. I really liked your friend. You know what I mean? So it's one of those where your energy is matched by other people because I think it's just so intense. So emotionally, it's not even just like it's all about you. You kind of affect other people's emotions in a weird way. I don't know if I'm tripping. I've never read that anywhere. I just believe that to be true personally, but you guys could be like, oh, she's wrong. I just really have noticed that with all Pisces, it's very intense. Aries, you need to drop your ego. You just got to, because you have emotions. You're a human being. And I feel like Aries are the kind of people that like to pretend like it's like cute that they're like that. You know what I mean? Like they can be like just an unemotional Aries. It's not cute. It's not cute. I'm so sorry. You guys are probably like thinking I'm talking shit about Aries. I love Aries. I love Aries. I have multiple close Aries friends. I really like Aries, but the thing is, it's so hard to connect to you guys because you have this emotional wall up where it's like you don't show your emotions ever. And I mean, you don't have to be vulnerable in front of everybody, but to people that you're close to, it's okay. Like, it's totally fine to cry over something. It's totally fine to be angry and show your, you know what? You guys don't have a problem showing your anger. Vulnerability is very difficult for you. Being open about your sadness and things you're going through is hard for you. And I feel like that's something you really need to break out of because it's only affecting yourself. And you know damn well you want to talk about that. You know you want to talk about what you're going through with your friends and your loved ones. But you don't. And who suffers? Not me. You do. Emotionally, Aries can handle a lot. You guys are not emotional people. But when you do feel, you need to allow yourself to feel because the way that you process it is not the healthiest. Romantically, I feel like a lot of Aries get into relationships just for the sake of it. You like to convince yourself of who you're with and that you love them when it's not always the case. I've known a lot of Aries to date people because they're good looking or because, you know, they provide a lot or because it just works out, it's convenient, they're close by, you know. A lot of Aries are in loveless relationships and I can't understand that because I don't like to waste my time and my energy and my effort. But hey, it works for some people. As long as you convince yourself you're in love, it's fine, right? So Aries, you guys need to just embrace your emotions, feel your emotions, process them, communicate them to those that you trust. And I think you're gonna be a lot happier. In relationships, you guys are probably give, which is amazing. But take a step back and just think about if you're giving to the right person and if this person deserves everything. I feel like Aries, when they're not fully invested and in love with someone, they excuse a lot of their own behaviors. So like, for example, if you're an Aries and you're up to some shady shit that you know you shouldn't be doing, you don't really care or think about it too much because you're in a loveless relationship, which is why I say stop the shit and just just be single, you know, just be single. Aries are emotionally dependent. They're very, very codependent on their partners very often. You guys need to practice embracing your emotions and coping with things in a healthy way as opposed to what you're currently doing. Taurus moon, you're probably one angry motherfucker. I'm sorry, I had to say it. you probably have a hard time processing what people say about you because you take a lot of things personally, and it makes you want to jump the gun and be defensive. But I think that it's a good idea to really think, to really listen to people. And if you disagree, you disagree, but give yourself the chance to understand things before having an opinion or having a response. Back to the anger. I think a common emotion amongst all Taurus is anger. I will say, you guys don't really get angry for no reason, but when you do, it's really intense. It's a little too intense. You guys black out, you guys go crazy, you guys are so angry. It's unbelievable. I think it's because you give so much emotionally and physically. You give so much. You do a lot for the people you care about, whether it's friends or family or whoever. You do a lot, and it's really sweet, but you need to understand that not everyone is going to reciprocate what you do things, and that's why you have to do things wholeheartedly and very genuinely and with no expectations. You need to stop expecting things out of other people and truly understand that what you do is because it's what you want to do, and no one's telling you. So stop taking things personally and letting it get to you and letting it affect your well-being, because you guys are sensitive. And I feel like a lot of Taurus like to act like they're not sensitive, and this is how they get themselves hurt. I said back to the anger, but then I just trailed off again. So anger, you guys get so fucking angry, it's ridiculous. You black out, you go crazy, you need to control it. But I will say quite often it's, you know, it's fair. I feel like you don't process your anger at all. Like you just let yourself explode without fully listening, understanding, seeing the other person's perspective. You just 0 to 100 in 5 seconds, and it's a lot. Overall, Taurus moon probably makes you more emotional, probably makes you more sensitive. And I will say you guys do process your emotions effectively, but when it comes to anger, that's the emotion, the only emotion that you really just lose it. And I think that if you have Taurus in your moon, I think that if you have moon Taurus, this probably makes you an angrier, more defensive person. And hopefully you're aware of that so you can fix it. Gemini! Thank God this is a 2-part video because this is already 26 minutes long. So if you have Gemini in your moon, I feel like this wouldn't affect your emotions too much because Geminis are pretty level-headed. Other than like the hothead thing, you guys are pretty, you know, you guys are hotheads for sure. You have anger problems. But I feel as though with your moon, Gemini is just such a neutral sign sometimes. I know it sounds weird because they're the fake sign, they're the sign of the twin, you know, they're hot and cold, they're this and that, they're hotheads. But I feel as though as your moon, it's not gonna do too much to who you are because you probably see things very rationally, very logically. You're probably able to communicate pretty well. You probably get along with a lot of signs. Gemini is kind of an easygoing sign, and this wouldn't really be a big factor with your moon. It would be more in your other placements, but because Gemini is already so neutral in some ways, I don't know, I feel as though it doesn't have a heavy influence. However, if it does, I believe that it gives you a more logical perspective on things as opposed to an emotional one. So you're able to process your emotions more logically. You're able to process things and think them through and weigh out pros and weigh out cons and weigh out certain factors of whatever your situation may be in order to deal with it. I mean, I wouldn't mind if my moon was in Gemini, to be honest. I think that'd be cool. I love my moon sign. I think my moon sign really gives me balance, but Gemini is also a good one. Especially if you're a water sign and like your moon is Gemini, I feel like you'd be more level-headed. It all depends on your placements though, obviously. But yeah, Gemini, I feel as though in relationships, you're probably able to want to have talks and discuss things and have, you know, conversations rather than arguments. Unless they do some crazy shit, then you might blow up because you probably do have anger problems. You probably get angry really easily, and you probably, you know, get a little irritated easily. I find that Geminis get annoyed and irritated like that. That's something that you probably have to deal with, because Geminis, like, you could do the littlest thing and they're snapping at you. They're so mad. They're so mad within a second because they just get annoyed of things. And you're like, yo, calm down. I didn't do anything. All I did was tap my nails on the table. Why are you screaming? You know what I mean? Okay guys, so there are the 6 signs for you in part 1 of this video. Again, part 2 is probably going to drop next week. I hope I can actually do it in a timely manner this time. Last time it took me like 6 months to drop the part 2 and I felt really bad. But this time, you guys know I'm self-employed now. I don't go to school right now, so I got all the time in the world to film part 2. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you did, don't forget to subscribe. Like the video, it helps me out a lot. I haven't been saying that for the longest time until I realized that it really does help the algorithm. So please, go ahead. I'll give you a second. Did you like it yet? Don't those make you feel so uncomfortable? It makes me feel real uncomfortable. But yeah, please like the video, give me a subscribe, check me out on Instagram. And once again, if you want to have a nice long hour chat with me for a low price about anything you want, love advice, relationship, astrology, anything, then you can check me out on Instant Go. I'm gonna link it down below. My username is TheAmateurGuru. You can check me out. Just so you know, I do not do like predictions, and I don't do birth chart analysis. But yeah, so check me out. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, I already told you to like it, so I guess I'll just see you next time. Bye guys.